Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Here we are with The Traitors Season 3, Episode 6. In this reaction and review, do we come to praise Boston Rob, or do we come to bury Wes? There is an ultimate debate that we all must have.
I think we should also praise Derrick a little bit here. I mean, he really went for this move, and I think that if a couple of people just really came in with him, this would have worked. It was just we had a couple wild cards in here, like Carolyn, who is upset as she is, and I understand why, and I understand why she's decided to go after Danielle. But there's a couple people that I think Derrick could have done a little bit of a better job with. But in general, I mean, he was so close. He almost had this.
Okay. I just want to send a message here to all of the Survivor Big Brother contestants who are watching this video in preparation for the Traitors
All none of them.
Season 4. Yes, all none of you. I am here. Stop being the snake eating its own tail. What is wrong with you people? This whole season is just Survivor and Big Brother people going after each other. It is bumming me out to all extent because I don't watch a lot of the other shows that have these contestants on here. I mean, sure, if they had Amazing Race alum on there, I'd be able to root for them. But all these people who I am invested in are all just targeting each other. We're going to have a finale with Tom Sandoval, who has suspected every person in the castle. Ivar, who thinks he's narrating a documentary and is not actually participating in the game. Like, these are who we're going to be stuck with.
Yeah, here's the thing is going into this season, I didn't know Bob before this show, so to lose him and then to lose Bob H, I mean, these are two people that I was really invested in.
Yeah.
Wes, I've never seen the challenge. This is my first time with Wes. I love the way he said goodbye. Like, it feels like it was iconic. He is someone that is really smart. Yeah, he plays hard. I love that he was really honest about it, where his gameplay is anybody but me. I'm like, yeah, that is how you have to play. It's just everybody has to go so that you're the last person there. And him going up there, giving that speech, iconic. He's such good TV. Like, we're losing people, for me, that are really good TV, or people that I'm really invested in, like Bob H.
Okay, we have so much more to get into here, including me being extremely angry at Wes. But before we do,
Wes,
be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be back with more of the Traitors throughout Season 3, and also Survivor 48 is coming in a matter of weeks. They just announced the cast. We're starting to mentally prepare ourselves. We don't want you guys to miss that coverage as we return to the world of Survivor.
Yeah, we're really excited to cover Survivor, so hit that subscribe button and stick with us.
Okay, Wes.
Oh, Wes!
What is wrong with you? Okay, I want to pitch a reality show idea to you right now because, you know, I've been watching Dr. Will on Deal or No Deal Island as well, and I forgot just how arrogant he is in every single moment possible.
Oh, yeah, you forgot that?
Well, it's just like he's older now. I was thinking he wasn't going to play like he did Big Brother All-Stars, but I want to see a show where Dr. Will and Wes are captains of a team, and the whole premise is whoever can stand putting up with them the longest ends up winning, because these two are the most arrogant people who have ever lived. Wes going up there and being like, I've won more than all of you. You all suck. And then basically doing the cornbread from Big Brother over the top and saying F you all as he walks out the door. You are such a jerk. You are great TV, but you are also such a jerk.
No, he's such great TV. And I mean, really, he torpedoed his own game at this round table. I thought he was playing a really great game before that. He was able to kind of maneuver himself the best that he could out of this Boston Rob situation. I know Rob was still going to target him anyways. He did the best that he could. Unfortunately, Wes just said what Wes said in front of Ivar, who is not to be trusted as a blabbermouth, and just told everybody at every point that he possibly could that Wes said this thing about Boston Rob, and he just sunk Wes's game, knowingly, unknowingly. But him going to this round table and basically like, anyone who writes my name down, I'm targeting you. It's just... What is the purpose of that? You're not going to be able to threaten your way through this. That's not the way that it works. And I think if he hadn't done that, Rob would be gone. He'd be gone.
Wes
There
has,
was like 2 people that were like, I'm specifically voting
yeah,
for you, Wes, because you threatened me.
yeah. Well, this is the big tinfoil hat theory I have at the
Mhm.
moment on all of this. Did they really mean that, or were they just saying it as an excuse? I think they probably really meant it, but it is one of these this is why I'm so mad at Wes, because this is going to be the ultimate sliding doors moment for the rest of this season, where if Wes doesn't do that, is the entire game going to be different? Because then maybe Boston Rob goes at this point, and then maybe the entire structure of everything changes with him gone. Maybe Danielle and Carolyn can figure something else out. I don't know, but it's just like Wes having the worst bedside manner
Oh my
possible. He's
goodness.
basically a doctor who's going in, looking at a patient and being like, "Yep, you're going to die soon," and then just like washing his hands clean and walking out the room. It's just like nobody is going to be happy with you. And this is why my other big question here, beyond whether or not people really change their minds at the round table, I don't know if this is like, Survivor where people make up their minds before tribal council or not. But this is the other big question I just have with you, is that were people voting to get rid of you just because this was like with Tony? They just didn't want you there anymore because you were insufferable to be around?
Yeah, and I mean, that was brought up as well. Don't just vote him out because you don't like him. Like, that's not really what we're here for. We
Yeah.
can deal with this as long as we get out a traitor who's running this game. I mean, I can't believe how accurate
Yeah.
Derrick was with all of this, including being like, I think we all changed the game when we sent Rob out, and that then Alan here behind me sent him in as a traitor. You got Helen back there smiling, but it's like, he called out everything
Yeah.
exactly right. And even as things were getting chaotic and
Yeah.
Carolyn's jumping in there and everybody's jumping in there, at the very end, Derrick was still like, guys,
Yeah.
let's kind of get back to what it is, because I feel like this is all lost now.
It's so fascinating with Derrick. Like I said a week ago that I thought Derrick was playing one of the best faithful games we've ever seen, that Derrick was probably going to win this season. I feel very different now, but at the same time, I'm sitting here being like, how much of this is Derrick's fault? Like, he has to shoulder, obviously, just a little bit of the blame because he lost. I mean, this is the biggest L I think I've ever seen Derrick take in reality TV, but his reasoning was sound. It did seem like he got some people over on his side. He was correct with a lot of his information, unlike with Sierra earlier this season. Like, he was totally right here.
Yeah, I think his biggest issue was that the person that he put his faith in was Wes. And I
Yeah.
understand why he did. It made sense
Yeah.
why he would bring in Wes, who's also a strong player, who has lots of influence. And together they were going to be able to get Rob until Wes just couldn't get out from in front of himself. And it's kind of like, if Derrick had picked another person, would he maybe have been able to tip it? He might have been able
Yeah.
to tip it. And now it's like, after this whole round table, the person he's going to is Dylan. And it's
Yeah.
like, I know he doesn't know how much of a fan of Boston Rob he is, but he's picking the wrong people to be able to try to get Rob out.
Yeah.
The biggest problem for Rob now is, how does Rob get to Derrick? He can't murder him. There's no way. If he does, he might as well just come in and be like, hey guys, happy breakfast, pass the, eggs. I'm a traitor.
I am so morally conflicted as to what the right move to do is now, and a number of different reasons. Like, I'll say, for starters, with Derrick, and yeah, what you said here about Dylan, there are two people that I think Derrick potentially bungled things with, where if he had been closer to them than he was with Wes, this probably would have been okay.
Yeah.
One of them is obviously Dylan, who was Team Boston Rob. At least you ditched the backwards hat in this episode, Dylan.
At least there's that.
You are making progress. I still want to believe in you, mostly because everything else is falling apart. But the other person is Brittany, who he should have nurtured, and now that's gone completely the other way. We'll get more into that later. But if he had those people on his side, everything would have been different. And now, okay, I feel like maybe this is a hard hat. I don't know, but
Oh.
this is a hard hat I'm wearing for construction purposes at this point, because
Okay.
I think if you're Boston Rob, this is going to sound crazy, you have to kill Derrick. You have to just get rid of Derrick. I understand exactly what you're saying. Like,
He's just gonna basically be coming in with a sign that says that he's a traitor. There's no getting around that.
I just think at this point, Rob, you are on borrowed time. I give you a ton of credit, like a ton of credit for being able to best both Wes and Derrick in this roundtable, because like they are two of the best players ever at their respected games. Like, I have already said I'm not like the biggest Boston Rob fan ever, but I'll give credit where it's due. Like, he made good arguments. He might as well. This is gonna okay. He might as well kill Derrick, then be like, "Hey guys, see what they're doing to me? They're all making me look like I'm the bad guy. You guys know me." It's not, I don't think it's gonna work. Like, let me be very clear. I just think Rob is going to be banished at the next two roundtables, regardless at this point, because there's just too much heat on him.
Rob made it out by the skin of
Yes.
his teeth. It was, if he makes that move, he has signed his own death warrant. I think that he does have a chance to still get out of this. If he doesn't kill Derrick, he gets more heat on what's going on with Danielle and Carolyn, because Carolyn really put herself out there to be like, I'm not having you, Danielle. You know, you said my name over and over again. Danielle and the turd is like, oh, don't worry, I'll fix it. She does zero to fix it. She says nothing to anyone. She just leaves it alone, which is nothing. Carolyn starts to get more and more information, calls her at the round table. I think Boston Rob's best move is to let these two go at each other and just fan that flame and get all the heat off of him and start to maybe move Derrick even towards one of them, since they are both traitors, and let Derrick feel like he has a win.
You can do that. You can do that right now. Like, if you can do that right now and find a way to make it work, then hats off to you, Rob. I mean, you already made, and I gave you all the credit at the round table, so I'm going to give you some blame now. Okay. At this last turret, I always forget what these things are called because they have all this elaborate, like, castle vocabulary. At this past turret, you should have just been like, hey guys, you guys decide who you want to send out. I'm cool with it. Instead, he's in there pushing Bob H. Like, let them take the heat. Let them feel like you're on their side right now. And then maybe you can kind of backpedal a little bit, but you still are not doing that.
Yeah, he did that last week too. It was the same problem. And I mean, Danielle does understand Rob's game, where she's like, you kind of have to give Rob what he wants so that you can deal with him another way. That is the way that you have to deal with him. That's fine.
Yeah.
But Danielle's not dealing with him. Danielle's coming after Carolyn, who was never coming after her. So yeah, she's got the right idea, but she's not on her own plan for whatever reason. But I will say, like, the funniest moment to me was watching Rob's face at that last turret where Carolyn and Danielle were just going back and forth, and watching him with his mouth open being like, you never see him shocked like that. So to see him just like, I can't believe what is happening here.
Yeah.
Like, we are so broken and we are so disorganized. And the look on his face of like, there's no saving this. Like, I'm going to say we should try to save this, but there's no saving this. He knows it.
That is the most entertaining thing about this Traitor season. Like, am I going to sit here and be like, people are playing amazing games? Absolutely not. But these are really iconic players. And we've never seen Derrick fail with the plan like this. We've never seen Boston Rob this discombobulated, where he's just like, these are people that fundamentally I cannot control in any way, no matter how much I may want to. Nobody can control Carolyn. And like, this is a big debate. Like, she's in there voting for Danielle at the round table, and I understand why she's mad. Like, I fully get all of that 100%, but it's also like, you're voting on an island. At what point is this just going to be, you have to rally as many people to get rid of Danielle, and Danielle's going to rally as many people to get rid of you? Like, she cast her vote, and yet still it felt like she had a little bit of a backseat. So it's kind of like she's playing two different games at the same time, and it's not going to work forever.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this works out, because Danielle has already shot her shot.
Yeah.
She's already gone out there and spread Carolyn's name all over town.
Yeah.
Many of those people have gone to Carolyn, to be like, this is what happened. Dylan was the first. Then you've got Carolyn collecting more information. Gabby's being honest with her. Brittany's also telling her, not saying her name, but this is happening.
Yeah.
She's gotten so much information at this point that it's like, Danielle has already tried and missed. And now you've got Carolyn, who has taken those people in to be like, what are you talking about? Like, what is happening to me? And now she's brought those people in with her. So it's kind of like, who does Danielle have left to try to turn on Carolyn? Carolyn does come across as an emotional player.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if she's faithful, traitor, or whatever. She is herself genuinely, which is why I loved her so much on Survivor, which is why I love her so much here. I'm not here being like she's the best game player ever or the worst ever, but she's genuinely herself. And a lot of times watching reality TV, you don't get that anymore. Everybody's there to be a big character. And while I appreciate, the Boston Robs and the Wesses of this world, I really appreciate just seeing someone who is unapologetically themselves, no matter what, that she's just like, yeah, I'm going to be emotional. It's who I am. It's you get what you get with me. So you get what you get with me. And it really has helped hide her as a traitor. And I think it has helped her bring in the people that Danielle already tried to turn on her. And I don't think that they will turn on her now. I think Danielle's in bigger trouble than she thinks.
The funniest thing about Danielle's position right now to me is that you need Boston Rob to stay as long as humanly possible now, Danielle, because he's going to be the target of a lot of heat. And if people continue to try to take Boston Rob out and maybe they end up missing, ironically, you tried to take Boston Rob out and you ended up missing.
Yeah.
It's just the longer he stays there and gets attention, the fewer votes are going to be put on you. Now, of course, the worst case scenario here is that you can't win Boston Rob back. And then Rob is now going, you're not with me, you're against me. And then Rob starts the pressure to get you out of there. It is just so funny that this was the worst turret session of all time. All three of these people are still there. They're all going to continue to have to make some sort of decision.
Yeah, I think Rob knows he needs to get both of them out, or at least one of them at the next round table to take the heat off himself.
Yeah.
But also, he can't control either of them, and he knows it. He's got Danielle who's voting for him, Carolyn who's like, I don't care what you guys want. I'm here to murder you both now. I'm out on you guys. And Rob is just sitting there at that point being like, okay, what can I do about this? He's got two people he can't control. He needs to get out one of them and bring in a Dylan.
He needs to do something. It's just so... I can't imagine any of these people being there in the finale, and yet at the same time, we've seen Traitors on other international versions kind of find their way through a lot of this. So, I mean, I'm not going to rule anything out. It's just they're all so messy. I will now give collectively my two favorite entertainment purposes moments of this episode.
Okay.
Number one, early on, when Carolyn is like, I don't know if I can sign this, or Rob is just like, just sign it so I can get out of here. Rob was so fed up in that moment. I don't think I've ever seen Rob just so annoyed and just like, I just want to go to bed. Can you stop this? Number two, and Brittany, I have been waiting for you all season long for you to say it's one less person to make tea when it comes to getting hype. Thankfully, at least she understands. Yeah, she may be wrong about every other thing in the game, but she understands that Ivar is fundamentally useless on this season. He's not bringing anything. He's not. All he is doing is just watching other people and describing what it is that he is seeing.
Yeah, and spilling everybody's secrets. He's terrible at gameplay. He's hurting everybody else's gameplay.
Yeah.
He does need to go for that alone.
Okay, and now we can have the Brittany conversation because I am having really unfortunate Big Brother 12 flashbacks right now with Brittany, where it's just like, confessional wise, I love you. I will always love you. You are very entertaining to me.
Yes.
Gameplay wise, you are a complete and total car crash, and you have always been this way. Your biggest mistake, you never trust the right people. You trusted the brigade, and you obviously you didn't know that they were the brigade in Big Brother 12 till close to the end, but
no.
You put your trust in the wrong people there. Now you're putting your trust in Boston Rob for some reason that is completely befuddling me.
Me as well. I do not understand why that is happening. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why anybody is trusting Boston Rob. Everyone has seen his game. They know that he's not going to be loyal. He is going to cut you when he needs to. It doesn't matter if he is a traitor or a faithful. I'd be so terrible at this game. People would hate me in this game because I would go through this game being like, who do I want to share the money with? And I do not want to share the money with Boston Rob. I just don't. He's already won other games. He's plays like a snake, and I don't want to share the money with somebody like that. It's just the way that it is.
This is why I would want to be a traitor. It's just like, I want to remove as much of that from the equation as I can. And it's just like, if I knock myself out because I do something dumb, so be it. I can live with that. I can find a way to figure that out. But it's just Brittany, her caping of Boston Rob has become so bad now that Derrick thinks that she is a traitor, and
Yeah.
Derrick's obviously wrong about this, but at the same time, this is gonna sound like I'm caping for Derrick now. It's kind of like, I get it.
I got it.
Because
it looks suspicious.
yeah, it looks suspicious. And if you've watched the Traitors, you know that, okay, we've got one person who's been identified as a traitor already, and Bob, who is not a part of the Big Brother Survivor universe.
Right.
We all know that there's probably at least 2 people up there that are. I mean, in this
Right.
instance, there's 3, but it makes sense that he would think this because, you know, she's been on 2 Big Brother seasons, and, you know, say what you will about her gameplay, but she made it reasonably far both times. Like,
Yeah.
she's capable of handling that title of traitor. So I get it. The problem now for Derrick, though, is that maybe Boston Rob doesn't have to get rid of him because now Rob's going to come after him. Brittany's going to come after him. Maybe they rally enough numbers and Derrick gets banished at the next round table.
Oh, Derrick. I feel so bad for him because he had
I know.
this. He had this. If Wes, I really don't even think it's a sliding doors thing. I
Okay.
totally think
All right.
that Wes would have stayed. I think Wes threatening everybody. I don't know why he did this.
Yes.
Like I said, I've never seen him on anything before. I don't know how he plays. I don't know why he thought that was gonna mean something. That people are like, oh well, I don't want to deal with Wes, so I'll just not vote for him. It was just such terrible gameplay for no reason. Like, Wes should have just trusted the process. Him and Derrick had it. They had the votes. I mean, Danielle knew it in her heart. That's why she voted for Rob, that the votes were going to be there if Wes hadn't done this.
I think what we're fundamentally seeing here, and I know this is really frustrating for a lot of great gameplay fans out there, is just that this is a very different game than Survivor, Big Brother, even the challenge. I mean, I have a caveman understanding of the challenge. I've seen a little bit of it but from what I know, and I'm sure the comments will correct me on this, it's just like you end up being able to fight for your life in like one of these showdowns, like the hall brawl or something like that. And if people come after Wes, he can just go and bludgeon them in this and stick around in the game. You can't bludgeon anybody in the Traitors. There's no competition that you can do to save yourself. And regrettably, this is where I don't know a solution to this. I'm kind of salty about it still, though. I don't know how this game works, where it seems like the ideal strategy is to be kind of wrong about some things early on so that you don't get a big target on yourself. You kind of get forgotten, and then you can coast for a little while, and then maybe you figure it out around like Final 7, Final 8.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the best strategy is to figure out who's a traitor, and then as a faithful, just tie yourself to them and then kick them out at the end. It's the way to kind of go about it. Just figure out who it is. You don't need to get them out right away because they're just going to have the head of the snake replaced by somebody else anyways. There's always going to be some traitor there at the end. So you gotta just attach yourself to who you know is the traitor, go to the end with them, and then red bag them at the end and be like, get out. I've known all along.
Okay, I find myself now in this position because, unfortunately, whether it is your fault or not, Derrick, you are not making it to my finale anymore. I'm sorry. So I have to figure out.
I think he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, just like you've got your hard hat on for the construction.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Rob taking out Derrick in the turret, and that's going to be like the move for him.
Yeah.
I think that I know Derrick is coming after Boston Rob, and Boston Rob knows this.
Yeah.
I don't think that Boston Rob is going to take Derrick out as, murdering him, because I do think that he knows that he's lost the game the minute he does that. I think Boston Rob has a chance to go further. I don't think he's going to win. I think there's too many people that do think he's a traitor. But who knows? Maybe someone will have my strategy, and maybe Dylan's figured it out. I was like, yeah, I'll ride to the end with him and red bag him right at the end, right? But I think that because Boston Rob has such a problem going on with Danielle and Carolyn up in the turret and dealing with them coming after each other. Carolyn has straight said, I'm coming after the both of you. Danielle is coming after Carolyn. Rob has an opportunity here to not bother with Derrick anymore. Derrick has lost some of his numbers. Wes is gone. He was somebody who was really influential and going around and helping collect the Rob people. Now Derrick is talking to Dylan. Like, Dylan's not going to turn on Rob. Derrick has lost any sort of momentum that he has had. He may think that it's Rob, but he doesn't have the votes anymore. He doesn't even have close to the votes anymore. If Rob goes in deciding that he's going to turn on one of the two women, let them go after each other, roll one of them under the bus, he doesn't have to worry about Derrick anymore, at least for a while. Derrick doesn't have the votes anymore, and I think Rob will see that.
I would be excited if Derrick makes it to the end. Not even just because, I'm a big fan of Derrick, because entertainment wise, I'm really not, but it is, I respect somebody who plays the game and plays the game pretty well, and he does.
Yeah, I just think that Rob is going to underestimate that there's still going to be enough heat on him that Derrick will be able to get those votes together at some point. He might just kind of look at Derrick and be like, hey, you took your shot, you missed, you're not good enough to beat me. And I think that Rob's ego is just going to kind of get in the way of that. And Rob has other problems, like, if I'm being honest at this point, with what's going on at the turret with the two other traitors. Like, they're all targeting each other. Rob has a bigger problem right now than Derrick.
I'm a coward, so I am going to give a much
That's
more
not true.
Okay, I am a coward when it comes to my belief now in Derrick as a game player.
I see. You're just a flip-flopper.
I am
I
flip-flopping.
understand. I'm a flip-flopper too. I wasn't feeling like maybe Derrick could make it to the end, but even with this heat on him, I just don't think that Rob would take that shot. It's way too much, and I know Rob wants to win this.
I'm flipping around like pancakes here. I will say this, Dylan, you're still one of my champions. It's just because nobody's going to think about you for a while. Rob's eventually going to go. You're going to be okay. Nobody seems to think you're a traitor. So I think there's probably going to be a couple of faithful winners at the end of this. So I think Dylan has potential to be one.
For sure.
Chriselle, I feel like you have potential now to be the other. Like I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and it's just like, there's no way in my brain that I can ever justify to myself saying that Sam or Sandoval and his million theories or anybody else should win this show. Chriselle's, for those who don't know, Chriselle's actually a big Big Brother fan. Like, she's really into a lot of these reality competition shows. So I like to think she's been quiet, but it feels like she still knows what she's doing. She has some sort of allegiance with Gabby. I kind of feel like she's going to figure it out. But now we put on the hard hat for sad purposes as opposed to construction.
Oh, no.
We are going to get a Final Four and Final Five. Sandoval and Sam are probably going to be among it. I'm sorry. It's just the way that it is. Sandoval could go into Roundtable and be like, you're a traitor. You're a traitor. You're a traitor. Nobody will care. You will stay in the game regardless because you suck and nobody is worried about you.
The problem is if you're a traitor and you're at that final throwing the bags in, you do not want Tom there. He's too much of a wild card to keep throwing in red bags and throwing people's names out there. And like, he's too unpredictable to bring all the way to the end. Sam, sure. I mean, you'll be able to bring him there to the end. That's fine. The person that was not really on my radar as someone who I thought could win, who now I'm starting to think might be able to win, is actually Sierra. Seeing her at the breakfast talking about Rob and how, Rob went after Bob because they're both traitors, and, it just felt like she's really catching on to things, and she's not really on the radar the way she used to be. She's just, everybody's kind of forgotten about her.
That's a good call, especially because she's encountered adversity. And I kind of think
she has.
It's a good thing on a show like this to be tested and to kind of have your game face on all of the time.
I think she'd be a worthy winner.
I will just say in general, I mean, this season's a lot of fun. I understand if you're watching just for strategy, you're probably pounding your head against the wall. You might be setting on fire like that giant traitor statue midway through this episode.
No, oh my goodness. Strategy-wise, this was so frustrating in a lot of ways. Watching Derrick cook was amazing. I absolutely loved watching that. He was so on point with everything, even down to that Allen detail. I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, he's so good at this. If he just had Wes keep his mouth shut, Wes would still be there, and they would have gotten that. And it would have put them in the position that Derrick said, which is, hey, once Rob is gone and he's a traitor, you and me are clear. Like, they think one of the three is a traitor. Cool, let's give them Rob, and then we're fine.
I will say this, and maybe this is a hot take, but I do want one of the traitors to go next week, because I just feel like we are nearing the expiration date of these three, where they're not going to be able to bring us anything anymore that we haven't seen from them already. So
Yeah.
I want to see somebody else recruited. I don't know who that is, but let's recruit somebody else in and create some new madness.
Yeah, no, Danielle or Carolyn, I think, are going next week. I don't think it's Rob. I think Rob is going to sit back, fan the flames, get Dylan to do a little, dirty work for him, and he's going to work with whoever is left. And then they're going to bring in somebody that Rob will feel like he can control, or somebody who's been saying his name a lot, like Derrick.
All right, well, we'll end here with the question for all of you guys. And it's not so much who do you think is going to win, but who are you actually rooting for at this point? Like, I'm just really curious, because that's what's great about this show is you have fans from kind of every walk of reality TV life.
Yeah, all the people I'm rooting for are gone. Like, I was rooting for Bob. I was also rooting for Bob H. I was rooting for Wes. I'm still also rooting for Carolyn. I don't think she's going to win the show, but I'm still rooting for her. She's playing her heart out.
I'm rooting for Dylan.
Yeah, I'm just having such a hard time. Like, at the beginning, I was really rooting for Dylan, but now he's such a sheep that unless he's sheeping me as well, where he knows that Rob is a traitor and he's going to get to the end and he throws that red bag in and calls out Rob, he's going to be so amazing. And I'm going to totally eat my words on that. But right now, he just feels like a sheep.
I want to root for you too, Brittany, but you're making it really, really hard for me.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Okay, all right. Well, hit that subscribe button, guys. We have more of the Traitors coming up. Obviously, a lot more Survivor as well. Mm-hmm. You can support us further by joining our Patreon. We've got a link in the description below. We are having a great time over there covering Prime Target, a really fun Apple TV Plus thriller.
Oh, good.
Yeah, in addition to The Pit, great medical drama that's on Max right now. Thank you guys for your support. We'll see you here next time.